if that person was our client, or that page was our client, and we were notified that a photo was used inappropriately, we would recommend, I think, to our client that the photo be immediately removed. You know, we don't know where it came from. We don't know how to properly attribute it. And if there's a concern, we would remove it. And that would be my recommendation to our clients. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, this raises a really good point about, where you can find digital content like that, because I always like, whenever I read a blog post, I like to put a picture in it. Some of my more demanding clients, like Caledon Virtual, insist on a photo in every single post, and that's fun. I suppose I can bend to their wishes. Honestly, if I'm going to use a picture in a blog post or on Facebook, it's either from a client, or I use the Creative Commons on Flickr, because that's an area where people have uploaded photos for public use, and all you need to do is attribute to them, and you have permission to use the photo. That's really the safest way to find a photo to use online, is just to go to sites like that, go to Flickr, and make sure you're using the Creative Commons, and you can find pretty much pictures of anything that you're going to want to use. So
I agree with you, Matt, and I think that a lot of times we share content. That's what we do in the social sphere, and we make sure that we're sharing it from Facebook page to Facebook page. Those 2,000 people have no idea where that content came from. So as the originator of the content, I think you have to make sure that and that you're getting royalty-free and or license-free images in your work, because people share it without ever thinking about it. They just see an image, they like it, and they share it.
Well, that's kind of the culture of the internet anymore. Is, well, it's on the internet, that means it's public, right? So that's a really tough lesson to learn for some people, that something that they've shared isn't necessarily okay to be shared. You can't just do a Google image search and download whatever picture you find. That's illegal. You can't do that. And I don't think people quite understand that sometimes. So it's really important for me as a manager here to make sure that the photos I'm using to represent my clients are of high quality. They contribute to the message I'm trying to deliver, and that they're legal to use. And you wouldn't go into a photography studio and steal a photo out of there. And it's really no different stealing somebody's photo online.
I think one of the ways you can protect yourself as well is to add a watermark, or to work with somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to images. If you're not quite sure, or there are online resources that are even free to add watermarks, but something that shows ownership if there is an image that you're using that you're concerned might be utilized.
One of the other things I think is very positive is utilize all of that content that's out there. If it's not content that that you have a use for under the common licensing, is use that as a guide for taking your own photo with a similar type of content. If Michael takes a picture of a tree and I really like that picture, and I go out and take a picture of the same tree, that's my picture. I'm probably going to be more creative about the picture I take of that tree, just because that's just the way I am. But certainly that gives us the ability, when you say, or when a client says, no, that's the photo I want. Okay, if that's the photo you want, then we need to recreate that so that you actually have the right of use for that photo. And so I don't know what you guys think about that too. So.
Well, I really like that thought process, and I think that we, Caledon Virtual is an agency that we look at creative things that other people do, and then we attempt to make it our own, because if it works, then we borrow it, but we borrow it in a way that is appropriate for our client and appropriate as we create it ourselves. But one of the things that I, sort of to look at is that as pages, and this is just this is a question to our account managers, is that when we use pictures as account managers and as companies and businesses out there on Facebook, do we want to just share pictures like that? I think that we need to be more mindful about that. I could see individuals sharing and maybe they say something that's not as nice or whatever, but it becomes viral in pages like, pages that's promoting a certain cause or pages that are businesses. We need to be more mindful of that. Now, that's not to say that, we don't want to share thoughts and ideas and videos and photos and things like that. I mean, we do it all the time. But when you see something like that, do you think, now that we know someone who's this has happened to, we need to be more mindful of what we share. Matt was, Caledon Ridge was perfect because he makes sure that everyone knows where the images are coming from. But not all social media managers are like that, or not all business, people who do social media on their pages on Facebook are mindful of that. Is that something that should be clearly stated on Facebook?
Well, I don't know. Let me pose a question. Nellie, if you post a picture of your team, of the Caledon team on Facebook, and I think that's really cool, and I decide to share it, I don't really know whether that was your photo or not. And so is part of it within the confines of the platforms that we use? Is there a certain amount of trust that we have that, in this case, I'm not downloading your photo and modifying it or uploading it to a different platform. I'm just sharing it within the Facebook platform. I think that's an awful lot about what that platform's there for. What do you guys think? And where do you draw the line?
Well, I think that comes to the question that I had was that I would really make sure as a business owner who's, putting my face out there on Facebook, that whomever's managing it, be a social media manager or myself, need to be very, very careful about pictures that you go up, because you're right, Tom. That's what you want. That's what Facebook wants you to do. Facebook wants that interaction between fans and businesses. That's what Google wants. And they're using videos and pictures for likes and shares and all. That's all very much a marketing strategy that is being supported by those giants. So as business people and as social media managers, you need to be incredibly mindful of those things.
It's become so accepted in our culture, right or wrong. It has been accepted, and these social media platforms are a party to that in the way they're set up, and so I think that's something as business owners, account managers, and Nellie address it is we need to be as diligent as we can so that we don't continue to add to the confusion.